the nature of Guatemalan culture is just like sharing, and you make food for an army. My name is Vivi, and today we're making fiambre, which is a really special Guatemalan recipe that's only eaten once a year. So the first thing we are going to do is going to get some water boiling. I like using my pasta pot because it has a strainer. So I'm gonna fill this with water, about 4 quarts, and a good pinch of salt, and we're gonna get this boiling. And while this boils, we're gonna get all the vegetables ready. What you're going to do is you're gonna start with the vegetables that take the longest to cook, which are carrots and cauliflower, and then we'll do Brussels sprouts, cabbage, green beans, and bell pepper. These are rainbow carrots, which I thought were very cool. We're gonna try and kind of julienne these veggies. And the idea is that you can grab a bite and all the veggies are gonna be about the same size. So the holiday that's associated with it is Día de Todos los Santos. In Guatemala, we have Day of All Saints. So it's like something that you typically don't make by yourself. It has to be like a group effort. There's days and days of chopping, and you make like 50 pounds of it. You make your own recipe or your family version of it, and then you drive around town. You go to friends, family, and you leave a container of it. The word fiambre can mean like a charcuterie board, but it's kind of like a chef salad. And it's like the perfect representation of Guatemalan culture. We can all coexist in one same spot and just kind of still keep your flavor and bring something to the plate. Everything still having its own taste, but like being together and connecting really well. Okay, I'm gonna drop the carrots in the hot water. Give it about 3 minutes. Drain, drop them in our bowl. Add about a teaspoon, maybe half a teaspoon of vinegar. And I can hear my water boiling again. That means we're ready for cauliflower. I'm not putting a timer, but I can tell how the water is boiling faster and higher. And that means that temperature has come up. So we're gonna go back and follow the same process. Take the green beans and bell peppers at the same time. We're gonna give them a little bit less time because these are smaller and we want them crunchy. Same thing with the Brussels and cabbage. The color of the Brussels already changed, and that tells me they're ready. We drain, drop them in our bowl. I did twice as much vinegar because it's 2 veggies. Okay, I am going to start with the beets. I can hear that my water is ready for the chickpeas. So we're going to interrupt beet and drop the chickpeas. We cook them until it comes back to boiling. And take these to the bowl. Put a little vinegar and mix it with the veggies. Now, this is the liquid where we have all the veggies cooking. We're gonna split this liquid in 2. We need about 2 cups of the poaching liquid separately, and this is gonna help us with our dressing. Put the chicken, and what we want is we just want to lightly poach it, and we're gonna give it about 20 minutes. So we have our veggie poaching liquid here. We are going to do about 1 cup of apple cider vinegar, and then 1 cup of plain old white vinegar, 1/4 cup of the pickle juice, bay leaves, thyme, a teaspoon of whole cloves, like a tablespoon of peppercorns. We're gonna have a couple of knobs of ginger and garlic. So this is gonna be the base for my dressing. I'm gonna put this back in the stove, bring it to a boil, and then simmer for about 20 minutes. Now, I am combining an onion with green onions. We are going to use these for the dressing, and then these we're gonna blanch, the same thing that we're doing with everything else. And we're gonna add the whites with the sliced onions, and then the green onions. Just kind of rough chop it, and then put it in here and set it aside. Next, we are going to shred a little bit of ginger. So that's gonna be part of our dressing. The other part for our dressing is a lot of parsley. We're gonna use parsley for topping the fiambre, and we're gonna use the stems for the dressing of the fiambre. You want it as fine as you can. See, it's almost like powdery small. That's what you want. So my chicken has been boiling. We are going to take it out. So we're gonna let our chicken cool. Now we're going to add onions. They should be looking a little see-through. So it's almost like not even a minute maybe. And same thing, now we're gonna drain it. Slowly incorporate everything in there. I'm gonna put this back so that we can add the beets. And beets will need about 2 minutes. And look at those beets. We're gonna bring this in a separate bowl. Add the last of my apple cider vinegar to the beets. Okay, so I am going to cut some cheese and cube it. You want about 1/4 of a cup of each of the cheeses cubed. I have a pepper jack and I have a cheddar. And then you will need something like queso fresco or a feta cheese. Think about the size of the cut of the vegetables and kind of mimic the same thing. And then we are going to start with el adorno. Adorno means ornament. What we want is we want to make something that's like very pretty to look at. For the adorno, you want long strings. So we're gonna cut it this way, almost like ribbons. And then we're gonna shred some Parmesan, about maybe like 2 tablespoons. Okay, my caldillo base is ready. And I'm gonna let it cool. It has to be cold before you make the dressing. Next, I'm cutting the pickles. I'm gonna keep some that are gonna be very long for the adorno. And then the insides and the seeds, we're gonna dice them. These are roasted red bell peppers. Put the pickles in there with the peppers and I stir it all together. I have some salami, I have some bologna, and some ham. Same idea with the cheeses and the other things for the adorno. You want to have some that's already in there and then some that's going to be for the pretty part. So we have our cold chicken. Cut it in small little cubes into the bowl. And my mouth is watering already. Okay. So I am going to put the beet inside and you will see how this changes color really quickly. This is my cooled up caldillo. There's the ginger inside, the garlic. I am going to add half of it to the fiambre and then the rest is going to be for my dressing. I'm gonna do about 1/2 cup of olive oil and in goes the cubed cheeses. And now we are going to add about maybe like 1/3 of your chopped parsley in there. And we are going to add capers, maybe like a tablespoon. Now it's dressing time. About a teaspoon of yellow mustard, green onion tops, all the stems for the parsley, the ginger that we grated, the Parmesan, teaspoon of salt. And then we're gonna use all the rest of this pickling liquid. And then I'm gonna put some olive oil. Do like 1/3 more of the olive oil than I have the vinegar-ish liquid. It goes in the blender. We're gonna add a cup. And as you can see, it's mixing with the pickling liquid in the bottom. And now I have this very special tool that I only use when I'm making fiambre. When you make a fiambre, you always need radishes on top as decor because no decent Guatemalan will ever have a fiambre that does not have a radish on top. And we're ready to plate. The first thing you want to do is you want to add the bottom layer, which is all the pickled yummy stuff. You kind of want to spread it. This is my first cheese. Then I'm going to go with my yellow cheese. Put little pieces of feta. Add the cold cuts, the pickles, roasted red bell peppers, egg wedges. Add a little bit more dressing, just like a little drizzle. Olives, I'm just gonna put them in there. Add some capers. The last pinch of beautiful parsley. Drizzle of olive oil. And the little radishes. Look at how cute they look. That's it. Because fiambre has such an importance, cultural value and personal value as well, I think it's very special. The fact that I get to share fiambre at my cafe, it's called Convivio Cafe, and having the ability to have a space and the privilege to be able to cook it for others, it's kind of like being seen, you know, and understanding where you come from.